Welcome to Concrete. Do you remember? I was just about to pull this out of the mold. I'm also going to polish the surface, so this could take a little bit of time. Can you see this? Can you see this? It's a little rough. Oh, yeah, you can hear it. We can get that much, much smoother. So that is the name of the game. Ooh, listen to that. Listen to that. Oh, that sounds good. Let's pop it out. There's our mold. Don't need this anymore. See how this works. I like the little feet. Pull this water over. Just see. I say see, but what I mean is I like to feel. So the one thing you're going to notice today is that I am not wearing gloves. So my hands are going to get dirty. I want to polish this. I want to get it all polished down. Try to get it nice and smooth, nice and even. I want to take this sharp edge off here. Fresh out of the mold, there might be some very sharp edges. I want to round those down. So I'm going to start with a 50 grit wet dry sandpaper. Hmm. 50 grit paper is nice for taking down a sharp edge. Large amounts of material. This is a shaping. And right now I'm just taking the sharpness out of this. I really haven't decided what kind of edge I want to put on here, but I know I don't want it to be sharp. So let's just start there. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can take an edge down. I'm a big fan of doing stuff by hand. Provided by Concrete. Thank you very much. And I am using them to kind of create the edge that I want to see on this piece. All across the surface. I want to... I think it's nice to make the surface level. You can set things on here now. This could be a cool little trivet for a teapot. Maybe use a teapot. With this, hopefully you won't. No gloves. So the reason I go no gloves when polishing is I like to feel everything. I like how the concrete feels. I like how the sandpaper piece feels. I even like the sound of things just kind of turning and spinning on the table. Tactile nature of everything going on here, and I also... Ooh, that's a good one. I like the sounds. Some people really like the sounds. Yeah, I like the sounds. And I like the feels. What? Not going to say that. It's Nice though. Just go down to your local hardware store and use wet, dry sandpaper. I've moved on to 120 paper. 120. Oh, you hear that? So you can tell already. It sounds really way less extreme. Going over everything I did with the 50 paper, and you can feel the difference. I can feel this side. See if we can hear the difference. So, here. I'm going to give this side a really good polish. What do you think elbow grease is? It sounds not good. I want to get rid of it. It's smoother. You can kind of hear it. You probably can't see it yet, but it looks better. So we're going to do the whole top. I'm rounding over this edge a little bit with the 120. The 120 will still do a little bit of shaping. But really what it's doing is taking off our craggiest, nasty, nasty parts. No more nasty bits. Ooh, 120 sounds good. So the fun thing about the polishing paper, or sandpaper, whatever you're going to be using, is it really is something you should be doing by sound. A lot of elbow grease. 120 grit paper still has some elbow grease involved, but at this point you're starting to finesse it. I'm listening a little bit. I'm like listening to the concrete right there. Oh yeah. Oh. 120 paper, done. How can I tell? Well, whatever grit of paper that you're on, you want the concrete to feel the same. And now I'm done with both 120 and 50. So I'm gonna move on to 220. Oh, 120. We'll save that. I'm gonna move on to 220. Yeah, this is 220. Yeah, this is 220. Okay. So we're on to 220. So 220 paper. I'm putting a little less elbow grease in at this point. Now I'm kind of feeling. I'm feeling and listening. What I'm feeling for are areas where the concrete kind of slows my sanding paper down. And then I know that that is an area that might need a little bit of extra attention. I'm also going to hit the edge again. Ooh, we're getting there. 320. Binder. It's just barely textured. That feels good. Next up, I'm jumping from that to 500. Look at this. If your high grit paper is wearing out too fast, or if this stage is taking a really long time, you probably should be doing more work at the 60 grit, the 120 grit, and the 220 grit. This should be a very fast, I'm kind of buffing. This is like polishing a Ooh. You should be able to go fast. If you can't go fast, you shouldn't be using this paper yet. You should be back at a lower grit. We're done. Feels good. I'm back. As you can see, I'm touching it with my hand. Safety, glasses, goggles. Safety, glasses, goggles, goggles, goggles. His eye just exploded. While it's still a little bit warm, we got some beeswax polish. Lucky cat wax. Thin layer of wax to the surface. There's a bunch of different stuff on the market you could use to seal concrete if you wanted to seal concrete, or you can leave it unsealed. You don't have to seal it. But my own personal preference is wax. Wax is the best. It outperforms the rest. It's born in the West. I do it because it feels good. I like applying wax to an item, especially a nice hot. Ooh. Oh, yeah, that's nice. I'm holding it. I'm going to put it under my shirt. Wax feels good, and then when you polish it, wax looks good, looks good, looks good. I've waxed it. The next step, give this a buff. My shirt, work play. I don't apply wax directly to the surface. I apply it to my hands. That feels good. Buff that in. Okay. I use a cheat to make this go fast. Put it on top of the President's Choice coffee, and I push it back a little bit. What's this? There's a Frosty in here. An old Frosty. Oh, buddy. This was supposed to be somebody's? Give me this. It's probably so gross. Someone put their finger in it. Or tried to eat it. I'm going to try to eat it too. Frosties don't really keep in the freezer. His eye just exploded.